Hey everybody, on this week of Guys Talking Sports, we're going to discuss the opening night of March Madness, NFL free agency and all of his madness there. And we're going to talk about Tiger Woods and his continued comeback and how he's doing thus far. This week of Guys Talking Sports. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Guys Talking Sports, where it's just us three guys talking shit and talking about sports. And with me, I have always the two bros, Al and Ace. Guys, how you feeling out there tonight?
Wait. First of all, you just told us that we have to be PG about everything, and the first thing that comes out of your mouth is what you just said. I mean, that's kind of like, well, all right, let's just do this.
There's no grimy talk.
Oh, now you want to put restrictions on it. Okay, fine. How you guys doing out there?
Good. Doing well. It's Thursday, not a typical day, but hanging in there.
Excellent. So we're going to hop right into it. Of course, March Madness has started. Game started early this afternoon. Right now, things have been pretty much going as I think most of the top people picked, except one buzzer beater with Miami, I believe it was, taking an L with a last-second three-pointer for the loss. So I know we all picked out some brackets. We got our brackets in by 12. Right now, I think Al is leading 90 points on top of me and Ace with 70, which he picked Gonzaga to go all the way, but I don't think that's going to last. But and Gonzaga did have a scare. He almost took an L. So far, guys, how do you think the opening first round of the tourney has started, and what kind of teams do you think are dark horses that could probably make a good run to the Final Four?
You want to kick it off, Al, or should I?
It's all good. You go ahead.
All right. Well, I think my dark horses could probably be Houston, possibly Houston, West Virginia, possibly Virginia Tech. That's probably where I'll go. Cincinnati, it's a possibility. But I don't anticipate. I'm looking at my brackets now. I only have. What do I have? I think I only have one Final Four, one number one seed going to the Final Four. So I don't anticipate it being a dominant top tier type of thing like in years past, where you saw the top three seeds, and not the top three seeds, but all the ones, all the twos, all the threes, that sort of thing. Like the top 12, top 15 squads in the country kind of wreck shop this year. I truly believe that there's going to be a lot of teams that go in and crash the party. And just going off the top, like Rhode Island. I didn't think Rhode Island beating Oklahoma was an upset. Oklahoma, in my opinion, didn't deserve to be in the tournament, especially the way they played down the stretch, losing, I think, 6 out of their last 8 games, getting bounced in the first round of the Big 12 tournament. ESPN and all the media was this on Trae Young's jock pretty much from towards the beginning of the season, when he had that Steph Curry-esque type of play style, and they just rode that wave all season, and just gave them way too much props. So I think this is going to be a very unpredictable type of tournament. So I expect a lot of top teams to fall between now and the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I agree with you. To be honest, I can't even remember how I picked my teams because I don't remember actually which teams I picked. I knew there was going to be a couple of upsets in the first round. Somewhere in the mid, I didn't think it was going to be like a 1 or 16 upset or a 2, 3 or 4 seed teams being an upset, but I did pick some upsets, going beyond maybe 6, maybe like 7, 8, 9. I think it was going to be a couple of upsets in the first round. I really believe that I said it before on previous, previous shows that, I believe a mid-major team can come out of being in a championship. I would love to see it. So I'm gonna stick with that. I believe some mid-major teams is gonna make a lot of noise, because it's too balanced. So I think that it could go either way with a couple of teams, especially going into the second round and, the Sweet 16. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of top teams get knocked off. So, all in all, I just thought that this is going to be a little bit different year than a lot of the powerhouse teams dominating. And maybe a couple, like you said, 1 or 2 teams here and there that'll probably make it to the Final Four. But I believe that all the top teams is going to be in danger, some type of danger in the second round or the Sweet 16, to eventually lose. So, we'll see how this plays out.
Well, I ain't gonna front. I mean, I wasn't following college basketball too heavy this year, so I actually picked, as probably want to say, a person that's almost who didn't really care about the NCAA. So I actually have some of the top teams going actually making it. Virginia and Villanova I have as my picks to get into the big game. I think Arizona's definitely going to make some noise. That freshman that they have out there is definitely big time. Definitely is probably going to go out and be a high draft pick, if not the first draft pick. I think Trae Young is undersized and probably could benefit from another year within college because his turnover ratio is just extremely high. I mean, yeah, he's Steph Curry, but he has Steph Curry turnover bug without the kind of same drop shop in his, skill scoring as Steph Curry did. But, no, I actually do agree with you, Al. I think that, the way that the college basketball has been so far, I do think a mid-major is definitely going to make a push. I think it's with all the one and dones right now, there's no strong teams or core strong teams out there right now that you can say, like, you don't feel confident really about, UNC or Kansas. I mean, you don't really feel confident about, heck, Villanova, but per se, I mean, the only team that I've kind of watched a lot this season when I did watch the games was Virginia, and they definitely look like they have a very balanced team. So that's why I think they'll do a push. But, I kind of went respectable. I do have 3 out of the top, 1 seeds making it there, but I really don't feel confident about all of that per se. But I agree. I mean, if it's not going to happen this year, it could happen next year. I think everything is so watered down as far as talent-wise in the NCAA. With all the one and dones, you don't really have a team. I was trying to look for a team that had a group of juniors or seniors because those are the teams, the mid-major teams always seem to make that, the long, deep run. But I couldn't find any team that I noticed that had like a strong freshman or senior class that played 3 or 4 years together.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like you said, it's probably the fault of the NCAA. But again, we had these conversations before about the NCAA, and it's doing, it's going to be there regardless, even though the one and done doesn't make it as competitive as it used to be or make it more of the esteemed powerhouses that it used to be. I kind of think that this is, it's still a round robin to me. And I think, like you said, with the NCAA tournament, you never know. So, any given night, some team can just fall and there you have it, so that's what's that's what's fun about the NCAA, as far as the brackets is concerned, because you never know.
Yeah. The reason why I didn't get Virginia, I actually got Virginia losing to Kansas State in the second round, only because they lost their 6th man with a broken wrist, and he's very he plays a vital role in how UVA plays. And it seems like the past couple of years, UVA always has some sort of issue going into the tournament that kind of holds them back, and they kind of underperform and don't play too well moving forward. So I got them actually as the first one to kind of bow out of the tournament.
And that's the one.
Right, exactly. You know, and I piggyback off of both of you. I mean, it's such a balanced tournament that, you know, it's of course there's going to be one team that wins 6 games in a row, possibly 7 if 11 or 16 seed that had to play in game manages to make a run, which I doubt. But it's so balanced and so much parity in college basketball as it stands right now. I don't think there's going to be any true clear-cut dominant team, even though Virginia was the clear number 1 this year, and this is a shameless plug, but West Virginia beat Virginia early this year, so they gave them one of the L's. So I just thought I'd throw that out there, you know what I'm saying? Because we are the best Virginia.
Are we going to start this again?
I'm just saying. That's facts. We can pull the record.
I mean, but are we going to start this again with the mentioning though?
I'm just saying. I'm just pulling facts. They're beatable. We beat them when they were full. But I'm just saying. I just thought I'd just throw a nugget of information and just put it out there. So
we'll see how your team fares in going forward.
I got them beating Murray State, and then I got them actually beating Marshall in the second round, the Battle of West Virginia, the state, and got them beating Marshall, but then I had them losing to Villanova. So, you know, as much as I would love to say they're going to make a Final Four run, I don't believe in my own self. So.
That's what I picked. I felt they could at least get to Villanova.
Right.
And then I don't think they're going to beat Villanova, but.
I'm not going to say anything in regards to where I had them.
You could have had them losing. It's a 12-5. You probably got them losing to Murray State. It wouldn't shock me if they lost.
Okay. No, but I will say this. I would love to be there for the Marshall, West Virginia game. That I would love to see.
Oh, same here.
Rival. That would be a good rival.
Oh, definitely. That's state bragging rights right there.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they set it up that way in the event if Marshall can upset Wichita State. And I have a strong feeling that Marshall can because they've been playing really well down the stretch of the season. So anything is possible. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I'm looking at this Texas Tech Stephen F. Austin game. Texas Tech is kind of scaring me. 4 minutes left of the tie score. You know, y'all was playing well this whole season and then kind of fall apart at the end of the season. So.
Well, actually, that was the place where I picked an upset. I did pick, SF Austin to beat Texas Tech. And I actually I don't know why I did this. I think I meant to change it, but I had St. Bonnie's beating Florida.
I was on the fence with that. I chose Florida, but it would not shock me if Bonaventure upsets them. It would not shock me in the least.
I'm going to be honest. I don't even remember. I think I did pick St. Bonaventure. So I'm not 100% sure if I did, but I'm pretty sure I did. As an upset too. So
I struggled with the Loyola Chicago Miami game. Like something told me to pick Loyola Chicago, but I went with Miami, and I wish I would have followed my gut. I took Loyola Chicago because I didn't think Miami was that good.
No, Loyola. I didn't. I'm glad I got that one because I definitely was on the fence of that one too. But I just didn't think Miami. I wasn't selling Miami with what they had. So.
Well, they would have won if it wasn't for the heck of a last minute 3 at the buzzer to kill it. At that particular point, Miami was rolling strong. I mean, it was a tight game, and both of them had good stretch runs with the win-loss records down like the last 10 games. So I mean, that was a kind of a coin flip in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have been in that position anyway to have them had that opportunity to make that 3.
Exactly. I don't think that I don't think enough teams play with a sense of urgency to get out the gates running as quickly as possible. Because the last thing you want to do, I mean, if anything, coaches should know by now that when it comes to the tournament, you know, it's anybody, any given Sunday, somebody can come and outplay you. And if you don't get out the gates quick enough to establish that you are the best you're the best team, then it's going to be a problem going forward because you never don't want to be in a close game. Never.
Especially in the tournament.
To me, that's always the beauty of like at least the first weekend because, you know, if anyone's going to take an L, you know, those top teams usually are more susceptible in that first or second game where that's the first time you might be playing a team where you've really been playing in outside of a week or so. I mean, the Big Ten tournament racked up a week and a half ago, and they're balling out right now. So, I mean, that's to me the most exciting part of March Madness. Usually this weekend, you know, Thursday up until Sunday. But then I think after that, once you hit like next weekend, usually the teams that should win, usually everything starts shaking out, and people that should win normally do win. But to me, the best part of the March Madness is this first weekend because, you know, it's anything goes.
Right. So let me ask. I'll be the first to come out and say who I predicted to be in my Final Four. And my prediction, my Final Four is Arizona, Xavier, Villanova, Michigan State. And I got Arizona beating Michigan State with a 72-67 score.
For me, in my Final Four, and, you know, I don't know how this is going to really cut out. I have UVA playing UNC, which I probably should have changed that. And I have Villanova playing Kansas with UVA beating UNC and Villanova beating Kansas and UVA knocking off Villanova so they don't get the another chip, 87-86. In a tight game.
I guess it's my turn. I'm just looking at what I had picked. I ain't even realized what I picked. I had UVA. I had Tennessee. I had Purdue. And I had Wichita State. That was my, yeah. No, wait. Am I right?
I'm looking at your bracket right now.
Nah, that's not what you got.
No, that's not what I got. No, I'm sorry. That's not what I got. I got UVA, Gonzaga, Wichita State, and Michigan State. I'm so sorry. I'm looking at that wrong thing.
You got the Zags making it to the Final Four?
Yeah, that was based off of the experience. Don't know how I got that, but that was based off of their experience last time. I thought that the coach would help them. So, hey, they still in it. So I'm not out of the woods yet, but I got Gonzaga and Michigan State in the national championship with I got Michigan State winning?
I thought you got Gonzaga.
I got Gonzaga winning, 84-82.
That's a bold prediction because you know they were there last year. They were there last year and lost.
Huh?
Gonzaga was there last year and lost.
I know. I was going based off of experience.
But then they lost one of their top centers last year, right? The freshman? Interesting.
It's bold.
Yeah, very. And the reason why I picked Arizona because of the one kid that's playing for Arizona, but then the coach,
beyond not Aiden.
Whoever the kid that supposedly got paid to go to school there, I don't know, whatever ESPN is claiming and the feds are saying, whatever the $100,000 with Sean Miller, whoever that kid. But I picked Arizona for a little bit of, you know, that's just like in your face. Yeah, Sean Miller didn't do this, and by the way, yeah, I just won a national championship. He gonna drop the mic and walk off, you know, that sort of thing. But it's interesting that we have such vast Final Fours, a broad spectrum of I honestly don't think, but I honestly believe that we may not even have one of the same teams making it. I don't know.
Me and Al both have UVA getting in there, but he's the only person that has Gonzaga winning the whole thing.
I have UVA nowhere near this.
Well, I think after this weekend, I think it's probably going to be a clear cut who's. Right now, if Austin and St. Bonnie don't win, I'm really tapped out.
Hey, Gonzaga was like one shot away from blowing up my whole roster, my whole tournament. Right.
Yep. And I actually picked South Dakota State to beat Ohio State.
Oh.
And they were hanging. They were hanging with them.
Well, Ohio State had a strong run in the Big Ten, and they had a kind of a decent run down the stretch. So I didn't think they were going to make it deep, but.
Well, I looked at it from a standpoint that the Big Ten had their tournament a week earlier than everybody else, so they've been off for about a good 10 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they're not the strongest team in the Big Ten. So I thought if there was any of a 12-5 type of upset, it could have been them, just because of just the long layoff and a scrappy, know nothing about South Dakota State, but it just seemed like a good 12-5 upset.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be curious. It will be interesting when we talk again on Tuesday how our brackets are shaping up and who's actually leading. That's points-wise.
Oh, yeah, it is. All right, so we're going to switch gears here for a second, fellas. And, of course, NFL free agency kicked off officially on Wednesday, and there was a lot of activity. I'm going to try that best to see if I can remember off the top of my head, but some QBs got paid, namely Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. We had some people that got released. Jordy Nelson from the Packers released, and Aaron Rodgers is not happy about that. You had who else got released? Oh, Adonai Sue got released. Michael Crabtree, your old boy from San Fran, got released.
Folks down here in Baltimore are really giddy right now.
Really?
Because when free agency started, they signed Ryan Grant from the Washington Redskins to a 4-year, $29 million contract. Well, come to find out, Ryan Grant failed his physical. So Michael Crabtree now being available, he's supposed to be going to be in town tomorrow, and they're hoping to hold him hostage so they go ahead and sign him to a deal. So that's a definite step up for the Ravens, considering Crabtree is an established receiver. And he's a good possession receiver, I should say. I don't think he's anything more than that, but it'll be a good look for the Ravens if he can sign there.
Yeah. But I think the most interesting I saw was really New England Patriots. I mean, Danny Amendola, leaves and goes to the Dolphins. The Giants snatched up their offensive lineman, and Malcolm Butler got paid.
Sure enough, did.
Yeah, sure did.
So out of all these moves, and there's been a lot, and I didn't even get to all. I didn't even get to the Jets head scratcher with Josh McCown and Teddy Bridgewater, even though Teddy Bridgewater is a low risk, high reward, which I can understand. But Josh McCown, it's the Jets. I don't know what they do half the time, but. What has been the most surprising move thus far, from y'all guys' perspective, with with free agency?
Well, for me, the McCourty twins are back together in New England. He got traded from the Browns to New England today. I like what my Niners did so far. Inking Richard Sherman and nabbing, getting the Giants center, Rich Berg. So, the Niners take from the Giants take from the Patriots. It's a beautiful thing.
Pittsburgh was a cap hit anyway, so he was.
I mean, it happens. It happens. I'm interested in Seattle. It seems like Seattle's doing a fire sale. Like, they had a good run. They recognized that they signed Russell Wilson to his contract. And then, of course, they couldn't sign all the rest of the other guys when their contracts were up. So they're like starting over from scratch. But they typically have a good eye for talent and know how to get the type of players that they want in their system. So interesting to see how Seattle's going to look next year. Touching on the Jets rather quickly. I said this early in the week, and I almost want to bookmark this. I want to say the Jets do not draft a quarterback in this draft. I say this because they already have 4 QBs on their roster. And they were looking at Trevor Siemian before he got traded to I forget where he got traded to. Minnesota. To be Cousins' backup. But I truly don't think they're going to go for a QB just because I think Bridgewater is an above average QB. And I think he, in my opinion, is a step up from McCown. It's just that, with that gruesome injury that he had, he just needs an opportunity to prove it. But he was putting in work in Minnesota before he got hurt. So I think you got a young QB at a great price. And if he plays well, you might give him $20 million a year next year. And he won't break your bank. But that's just my opinion. The rich just keep getting richer in Philly. And I love what Cleveland is doing, and I'm loving what Oakland is doing. Cleveland, by far, has been the star of the free agency, in my opinion. Oakland is doing everything in their possible, in their realm to make sure that they mend the wrong from last year and get back to the playoffs where they rightly should have been last year, this year. So that's my take.
Yeah, I agree with you. In regards to the Browns, yeah, they definitely doing some work this offseason, which is kind of weird, being the fact that you never really hear Cleveland doing something positive when it comes to free agency. So, I mean, the signing Carlos Hyde is a great start for them. And then bolstering up their lines with Chris Hubbard and Chris Smith. It seems as though that they're moving in the right direction after all this time. I really believe that Cleveland is doing good for the most part. There's others. I don't really want to get in towards about the Jets. It's just interesting what they're doing. But I agree with you, Ace, in regards to, I don't think that now with all the QBs that they have, I don't think they're looking to sign a QB, in the draft. I don't think that's what they're doing right now. I think they're doing something completely different. So, I do love what Oakland is doing as well. Between that, Seattle having their fire sale, of course, I'm interested to see what goes on because I believe that they're not done. And I'm really also intrigued as far as the teams that haven't gotten into the free agency yet, like Dallas and all the other teams that haven't done anything as far as signings is concerned, to see what they're going to do as well. What teams is going to stay pat, what teams is going to stay idle, or what teams are going to actually make moves after all the other quote-unquote available free agents is out there. That meaning somebody's going to have to move or somebody's going to have to be let go. Maybe a couple of other teams step into the place to start looking at free agents as well. But I really think that Cleveland right now is to be honest, I give credit where credit is due. They really started doing things to make right moves for that team, which should have been done a long time ago, in my opinion.
That's what happens when you have $100 million in cap space. They finally decided to spend some money. But I'm here looking at free agent signings. Jacksonville made some noise too with some picking up Dante Moncrief from Indianapolis and signing DJ Hayden. They got Austin Seferian-Jenkins from the Jets for the tight end. Kansas City made some moves, picking up Sammy Watkins and getting Kendall Fuller from the Redskins. In my opinion, this is almost as exciting as the actual NFL season, just because you're just seeing all the players moving and going to these new teams. It just gets your blood racing for the new NFL season. Though honestly, once the new NFL season comes, I'm more focused on college football. But I guess I appreciate the NFL during this time more so than the regular season.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Al. I mean, definitely the Browns definitely are making some serious moves even before free agency started. I mean, officially started. So, I mean, you get Tyron Taylor in there as the QB, so they're not pressed to have to pick the QB with that first pick. Actually, a lot of these teams, with the Broncos and everybody else, like picking QBs that have high picks in the draft, means to me that no one is technically sold on any of these QBs coming out right now. So, I mean, I'm sure they're all going to eventually go, but the Browns can sit there and not pick a QB with the first round pick. I think they're going to go for Saquon Barkley and then pick a QB with the fourth pick. I mean, they don't have to pick one, and I think they want Barkley. I think the Giants do too. I mean, they've been bolstering up their offensive linemen with two free agent signings. So, I mean, if Cleveland takes Barkley, I'm not even confident that the Giants even want to take a QB. I mean, they haven't given any indication that they are, but they haven't given any indication that they're not. I mean, they've been playing this pretty close to the vest, but my biggest takeaway from this whole thing was Kirk Cousins. I mean, getting that guaranteed, money from Vikings, all of it guaranteed. So I think that's just important now moving forward, because I think that's going to probably set a precedent for other QB signings coming up that are, have their, that are worth their weight in gold. So, I mean, you think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be looking for another contract extension, I think, next year. So if you see Kirk Cousins with the Vikings getting a 3-year, $85 million fully guaranteed, you best be sure Aaron Rodgers is going to probably want something, if not the same exact thing, pretty darn close. So to me, I think even with all the moves with, the Patriots letting some people go and, the Cleveland Browns and everybody else, making moves right now, I definitely think long term, I think that Kirk Cousins' guaranteed contract, at least for QBs moving forward, I think it's going to set the precedence, and I think that might trickle down eventually to a lot more QBs getting guaranteed monies. Because all it just takes is one.
Yeah. Cousins bet on himself, and he bet big, and he won big. But see, what's crazy is Cousins ain't really won nothing, and he pulled this off. He pulled this off being an above-average QB. He's a good QB. I'm going to say better than above average. He's a good QB. But he hasn't shown that he could lead a team to the playoffs. So I guess he's in the perfect storm right now as far as being in Minnesota. You got the run game, you got the receivers, you got the offense, you got the defense. All he has to do is just be a really good game manager, I guess. Be a step better than Case Keenum.
I think he is a step better than Case Keenum at this point.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. But I mean, I'm guessing coaches would feel more comfortable if they have to kind of throw the ball at the end of the game with Kirk Cousins versus Case Keenum. So I guess that's why they paid him that type of handsome sum for that ability in fourth quarters. But you're right. He set the precedent for the precedents for all QBs moving forward. Matter of fact, he probably did that for all players moving forward. If they feel as though they bring that much value to the team, I think if Aaron Rodgers is going to look that way, I think what's my boy running back from the Steelers? I can't think of his name right now. It's killing me.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yes. He might command some crap like that because look how valuable he is. Look how many times he touches the ball. And what he brings to the table.
I'll give you a better example as a QB. How about Sam Bradford getting that one deal at Arizona for $20 million?
He's been robbing the bank of NFL franchises for years.
Man, he's the Chandler Parsons of the NFL at this point.
Oh man!
You get 1 year, $20 million, $13 million guaranteed. Like, I'm sometimes impressed that what agents can do with the teams, with the players that they have under them. Sometimes, like half of that money should go to his agent or whoever represented him.
Hey, that's
I'm knocking that he's not a good quarterback, but the fact that he's the injury prone is just is unreal.
But I think that just goes to show how overvalued the quarterback position is. I guess that if you're a halfway decent quarterback and you command anywhere between 15 and 20. Look at Chase Daniels. They say he's been fleecing the NFL for years. He said that Chase Daniels, since he's been in the league, undrafted. He's been in the league for 7 years, 8 years. I think he amassed over $25-30 million. He's only started 2 games in his entire career. I mean, like, dude, you're a multimillionaire. You ain't did squat, but just sit there and throw the ball around in practice and hold a clipboard. I mean, and that's your future coach. That's your future NFL head coach because, he knows the X's and O's. It seems like all the backup QBs tend to be some pretty decent head coaches in the NFL.
Without question. No, he's set up for the future.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at the NFL, man, you can be honest. There's probably there's a top tier of good and great, QBs out there. And then there's the rest of the league. So everyone's fighting for a good QB. So, I mean, that's why these guys like the Sam Bradfords and, other people can rack up. I mean, eventually, I think Philly, depending on how they play it, Nick Foles is probably going to hit that open market eventually.
But the thing about it is that, and here's the, cause somebody tweeted this and I thought this was very interesting. Like the combined quarterback salary for both, Nick Foles and, Carson Wentz is still lower than these quarterbacks that are getting paid. Like, I think the combined was like $14 million.
Well, that's why the Eagles can still, pay players
right
to come over there because you got Carson Wentz on his rookie contract, so he's not getting paid that much. Yep. I mean, Nick Foles is getting paid, high for a backup, but not that high for a backup.
Right, I think it's getting like $9 million.
Yeah,
like $8-9 million basic backup money.
Yeah, and that's what when somebody tweeted, I was like, man, that's just crazy. Like those two quarterbacks combined. And mind you, now they're NFL champions, and yet you got like Sam Bradford making $20 million just alone, and you got what Kirk Cousins is making. Like it's like you said, Earl. It's like the high price for a quarterback. It's crazy.
You need good QBs, and you can look at the NFL playoffs. You can tell where QB play could have probably pushing teams over the top. You look at Jacksonville Jaguars. Blake Bortles. The first half, they were killing the Patriots. The second half, they just ran the ball and ran down Leonard Fournette where you could have easily play action pass. A couple of good pass plays would have definitely put the Patriots away.
But here's the question. Do you blame that on the inability of the quarterback, or do you blame that on the coach for the lack of not putting in the correct plays and being aggressive to go like what Philly did?
I put blame on both, in my opinion. You got to look at the coaches probably don't have the confidence that they felt like Blake Bortles could, carry the team. I mean, the way the Patriots had the box stacked there with 8, 9 men, daring them to run, and they kept running the ball. I mean, it was begging for a play action pass over the top. They could have just easily opened that game wide open, and Jacksonville would have been in the Super Bowl. But I think it was a little bit of both.
Yeah. Well, there's still some more dominoes to fall. So, you still got some of these second-tier free agents out there. So I'm thinking by the end of next week, we should, or at least by our next episode, we should have some more talking points about who signed where. So, again, it's like the hors d'oeuvres before the buffet. The buffet being the NFL draft, So.
Well, I think with all of the QB moves, especially with Cleveland and Denver Broncos and the Jets, I think it kind of starts to kind of shape how the QBs are going to be picked in that first round, and there may not be as many QBs going as high as some people expect.
No, actually, because it's funny. I saw a mock draft somewhere where the first quarterback wasn't even taken to like the 7th or 8th pick. No, that's a lie. I forgot where I saw it. But it was a CBS mock draft. But no, you know what it was? Barkley fell to like the 7th or 8th pick. Just based on all the moves, like based on what Cleveland did, because they got Duke Duke Johnson Jr., and now they got Carlos Hyde. It's like, do you really want to pick up Saquon Barkley? And I think they picked one of the quarterbacks with the first pick, and then they picked up Chubb with the 4th pick. And I think Saquon fell all the way to like Indianapolis, or I forget, or to somebody.
You don't know. I think the draft this year is going to be a little bit more interesting. I think in the past, it's been kind of knew who's going to go where, but in this draft, the way free agency has shaped out, especially with Cleveland kind of muddying the waters, I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen.
As a matter of fact, I just found an article. Hey, you want to know what's funny? The Browns, this based off of this mock draft, the Browns picked Josh Allen, the QB from Wyoming, 1. They had the Giants picking Quentin Nelson, offensive lineman for Notre Dame, 2. Buffalo picking up Sam Darnold. Bradley Chubb going to Cleveland. Mayfield being the first, not the first quarterback, but Mayfield going to Denver. But Saquon Barkley ended up going 7 to Tampa Bay, which is interesting because they got rid of, they let go of, what's his name? I can't think of his name because he just actually inked with the Raiders. Hold up, I'll tell you here in a second. Doug Martin. Doug Martin is no longer with Tampa Bay, so I mean, but who knows? That's why it's all a crapshoot. Everybody has their own opinion. You don't know what's going on in these war rooms. So,
hey, the Giants could pick offensive linemen. I mean, the GM definitely said that their whole offensive line for the Giants, which was horrendously bad, it was getting a complete overhaul. So, I mean, either everybody's going to go or they're going to bring in a whole offensive line. Who they're going to keep is going to be on the bench for rotation. But I could definitely see the Giants going for an offensive lineman because if you're going to stick with Eli, you got to keep him protected and upright. So,
right.
I mean, you can get Saquon Barkley, you can get Josh Allen, Sam Donaldson, whoever, but the offensive line is terrible. They're all going to get killed.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that. They do need an overhaul in the offensive line. I agree that I would, to be honest, I would agree with that mock draft more than anything because that seems like the right thing to do. But we never know until it actually happens.
Yeah,
of course. People get greedy. They feel as though just because Barkley is the best player in the draft that they got to have him, ignoring actual needs. You know what? you gotta follow the Niners model back in like 2012 when they drafted 2 offensive linemen in the first round, and the Cowboys how they drafted that offensive line, and that's what made Elliott look so good. I mean, hell, it starts in the trenches.
Ah, yes. Darn it, people. So we're going to switch gears here as we're coming out to the end of our show with a little talk with golf, since we don't really get into golf as much. We all saw that Tiger Woods is still marching with his comeback. He placed second in the Valspar Open last week, and he's tied in fourth place, shooting a 68 under for his first round. He's at -4. And I think he's like in maybe like 5th or 6th place after the first day. So there's been a lot of talk. Will Tiger Woods even come back? And, how is he going to be? Is he going to ever win another, championship? I mean, he's going to win another tournament, let alone a major. So, I mean, obviously the draw last week, and I watched, the Valspar Open, at least over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And it was like the same old electric, energy that was there with Tiger, with the big thralling crowds and the people screaming at him, making all the shots. But I know we don't really talk about golfer too much, but I want to talk about from an impact perspective with Tiger. I mean, what do you guys think? Can he? I don't say can he, but if he does win another tournament in a major, how do you think the PGA or golf is going to rebound from that?
If he does win the major.
Yeah. A championship, not even a major, just per se.
I don't think that golf is going to really bounce back until he maybe wins more than one. I would say if he wins like 2, then I could see that happening. But then again, I think majority of the people has moved on from that Tiger Woods era of, that whole thing with the commercials and everything. I think, as the fans' perspective, I think they moved on from Tiger. Whether golf as a whole, like the actual golf fans, moved away, I know they would love to see Tiger win another one. Because then all that talk would be about him getting him being back to where he was previously. It's needed for the golf because, let's be honest, no one is really talking about golf or who won the last major tournament at this point, except for like golf fans. But I think that would be much more of a boost for golf as a whole, especially if he does win it, because if he does, then all you're going to see on SportsCenter is about Tiger Woods winning.
I think Tiger is great for the sport. It's just the same old cliche. You can sit there and be the worst person in the world, but once you start winning, people stop forgetting and stop caring about your negligent past. So, Tiger just looks like he's out there on that golf course having fun with that 71-foot birdie that he had today. That little smile and he's like, yeah, I think I'm getting back to where he might have been when he won that last tournament when he had the messed up knee. Only this time, he's better. I'm not going to say he's, going to win another major better, but I can see Tiger winning a tournament or 2. I can see Tiger finishing in the top 30 before the end of the season. Because he went from 330-something to 180-something just in that one tournament alone. If he keeps this up, he'll be top 30 before you know it. And it's what the PGA needs. They're finally getting the eyeballs back. Because everybody wants to know how he's going to do. And good, bad, or indifferent, he'll always draw a crowd. And unless there's another kid that may come along that possesses that same type of charisma and that same type of flair, and can start winning tournaments at a very early age in their career, I don't think there'll be another golfer quite like Tiger come along for a while. And so I guess PGA and folks are going to sit there and milk this for as long as they can.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you to a certain degree, Al, as far as I think there are some fans that are probably like kind of over and done with, Tiger with, with all this stuff. But I mean, just watching the tournament and seeing all the crowds and the people cheer for him, especially when he was like in contention in the hunt, on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, you can definitely tell that the people are waiting for him to, get back to prominence. And, I think that on the PGA, obviously the viewership has always slipped in the weekends because there hasn't been anyone that's been that kind of draw. Or let me rephrase it, not even a draw. There hasn't been a player that's been consistently good for such a long stretch of time, as Tiger was. I mean, like you said, good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, whether you liked him or hated him, a lot of people hated him, his attitude. But when the guy was on, when he was at his prime, he was money, and he was money for years, not just for a year or two. I mean, multiple years. So, I think it's good for the sport. I think that, a lot of the kids that are growing up now, or a lot of people that haven't seen Tiger with all the big crowds and the people following him, seeing that energy on the course, I think they're getting an opportunity to see it. Even on Sunday, I mean, he's like, in tie for second, even ties for first, and then you can see, as usual, all these other players that start just caroling and kind of like slipping back and making, bogeys and double bogeys. It was like the old days where if he's like, number one on Sunday or in first place, everyone just kind of just falls off to the wayside. He just pretty much marches to the end. I don't think he has that mystique of, if I'm in first place on Sunday, is who's playing for second. I mean, but that mystique a little bit is still there. So I think that the more he plays better at these tournaments, and I agree, I don't think he's going to win. I'm not going to say he's never going to win at the major, but I don't think he's going to win a major this year. But I think he'll definitely contend a lot better than he has been in the past. I mean, his game has definitely gotten a lot better. I mean, but like I said, the PGA, they dealt with life after Tiger, and trust me, they don't like it. I mean, the one person they were trying to, they were trying to get Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth to kind of be like that next it person, and they just don't have it like them. And right now, I mean, the PGA wants that viewership back. They want that TV money back. The TV wants the viewership back because they can charge more for sponsors for the weekend. So, I mean, everybody makes money when Tiger Woods is playing well and in contention on Sunday. So everybody wants him back. So they're just hoping that he can be competitive on the weekends because that just brings people to watch TV. That brings more money in, and, it's good for everybody. But, they're going to have to eventually deal with life after Tiger. And if it's been any indication, it's going to be like it was before him. A lot of good players, but not that one dominant person that can carry the whole entire, the whole entire tour.
I agree. They thought they found some some guys. They thought with Spieth, they thought McIlroy. They show glimpses, but there's no consistency. So there's no. Every era always had some sort of consistent type player. In this particular era, now that Tiger's in his 40s, there's no player in their 20s that's showing that consistency to carry the legacy of that one player that they can say is that man. There's a group of young players that play well, but there's no one player that they can say, one golfer, I should say, that is, that's who we want to pin our hopes for. So, Tiger, I say go get him, sir, because they're great.
Yes. And well, guys, we're on that time where it's our time to say goodnight to all of our listening friends. So, an update from the tourney. Houston beat, San Diego State, and looks like Arizona's having a little go with Buffalo, and Virginia Tech is up on Alabama 43-38 near the end of the first quarter, and Kentucky, of course, took care of business with Davidson. So if anybody had those picks as far as Kentucky and Houston on your brackets, as I did, you're looking good.
I did too.
I didn't.
Everybody who had, otherwise, you're not looking so good. So right at the end of our call, the tally is Al's at 110, Ace is at 100, and I'm at 90.
No, what you get wrong?
I got who messed me up was SF Austin.
Oh, you should have known better.
Yeah, you gotta pick somebody to try to get that.
Earl did say that. He did say that. He just picked, but he wasn't putting too much emphasis on the bracket. So
I agree, but man, it's Stephen F. Austin. Come on now. No disrespect to Stephen F. Austin fans out there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you never know. I went for somebody that thought, at least on in the Midwest, so where I thought might pull a couple of upsets. Everybody else I kind of went pretty safe, but you got to try one. You never know.
Right.
All right, guys. So let everybody know where they can find you at.
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am Al Qualls. Again, Twitter and Instagram, I am Al Qualls.
You can find me on Twitter, CatDaddy1963, CatDaddy1963.
You can find me on the gram and Twitter at JEROSS7 . And as always, we're going to say love, peace, and soul.
Shout out to water. It's a cool, refreshing drink.
And there it is.
God bless everybody. Have a good one.
Night, night.